Hello children, how are you all? Hope so you are doing good. Do not forget to subscribe my channel, that is Ignite Math ARP. Yes children, in the today's class I have brought you a very new concept, that is section and midpoint formula, which belong to class 10 ICSE. Definitely nearly 8 to 10 marks will be asked from this chapter in the board exam. Here we are going to discuss about the concept and the questions from the previous board examinations. Right. So let me start the session today. Right. By saying the section formula. What is section formula? First of all, I'll consider a line segment over here. Now, what actually section formula tells about? See here, I'll just call this point as A and this point as B. Right. I'll mark a point P here, which divides the line segment AB. The coordinates of A and B are known to you. Coordinates of A is x1, y1 and the coordinate of B is x2, y2. Clear children? Right. So I am supposed to find out the coordinates of P, whose coordinates are mentioned as x comma y, which divides the line joining A and B in the ratio m1 and m2. So P divides the line joining the points A and B in the ratio m1 and m2. Then the coordinates of the point P, x comma y, is given by the formula, need to understand children, m1 x2 plus of m2 x1 by m1 plus m2 comma m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So this is the formula which is called as section formula, used to find out the coordinates of P, which divides the line joining A and B. Clear children? Right. So now we move on to the other formula, that is midpoint formula. Right. Here P is not a midpoint. P is dividing AB in a ratio M1 and M2. What if P is a midpoint? Okay. So I'll just take the same points over here, x1 comma y1, right, and here B is x2 comma y2. Right. Now here P is midpoint. This AP is equal to PB. So if P is midpoint, the ratio becomes 1:1. So means what? Wherever M1 and M2 are there in the section formula, I need to replace them by 1. That itself is nothing but midpoint formula. So if I am taking the coordinates of P as xy, by midpoint formula, P x comma y is equal to, I can say this is x1 plus x2 by 2 and y1 plus y2 by 2. So what's the difference between the section formula and midpoint formula? Here P is dividing AB in a particular ratio. Here we know that P is a midpoint of AB. That's why M1 and M2 we have taken it as 1:1. Clear children? Sometimes we may require to use the distance formula actually, which you have learnt in your 9th standard also. What is distance formula? What it tells about? See, I just take a line over here whose coordinates of the endpoints are x1 comma y1 and b x2 comma y2. So by distance formula, the length of the line AB is given by square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus of y2 minus y1 the whole square. Right. So the length of the line I am finding out when the coordinates of the end points are known to me. Clear children? And also we are going to study one more concept, that is called as centroid of a triangle. So you must know what you mean by centroid. Centroid of a triangle is nothing but the point of intersection of the medians. Then you will get a doubt, what is median? Clear? Median is nothing but a line segment drawn from one of the vertex to the opposite side, which bisects the opposite side. So here I am calling these vertices of the triangle as A, B and C, and I'll take the coordinates of the A as x1, y1, coordinates of B as x2, y2, then coordinates of C as x3, y3. So the centroid is denoted by the letter G. Centroid is denoted by the letter G, and you must know, children, centroid divides the median in the ratio 2:1. This kind of questions will be asked in MCQ as well, right? Centroid divides all the medians of a triangle in the ratio 2:1. Clear? So now if I am taking the coordinates of the centroid as x comma y, then the centroid formula tells me G x comma y is equal to, how can I find out centroid of a triangle? It is nothing but x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3, then y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. This formula will give me the centroid of a triangle. Children, keep in mind, whenever you are representing coordinates of a point, make sure that you are using the round bracket. Don't use the square bracket or flower bracket. Clear, children? So we learnt about a section formula, distance formula, and a centroid of a triangle. Now let me speak about some of the very important points in the coordinate geometry. See here, I was writing a 2, 3. What is this? They are called as coordinates of the point A, or they are also called as the ordered pair, where this 2 represents, what does it 2 represents? X coordinate, and this 3 represent y coordinate, okay. So x coordinate is also called as abscissa, and y coordinate is also called as ordinate, okay. So now always keep in mind, x coordinate of a point represent distance of the point, from y-axis, and y coordinate represents distance of the point from the x-axis, you should keep in mind, children. So and any point on the x-axis, say for example, roughly I'll just draw the coordinate axis over here. This is x and x dash, y and y dash, right? Any point is over here, the x coordinate of this point will be x itself and y coordinate is 0. So any point on the x-axis, any point on x-axis, keep in mind it is having the coordinates x comma 0. Suppose if I have any point over here, the x coordinate of this point is 0 and y coordinate will be some number, negative number in fact. So any point on y axis is having the coordinates as 0 comma y. Keep that in mind, children. Very, very important, okay. Some of the questions will be asked on these concepts also. Now let me take a question which was asked in a previous board exam, right? So it was asked in 2007, long back in fact, right? So these are the type of questions, right? So usually what they do, you have one more lesson called as equation of a line. Usually what they do is they combine the concept of section and midpoint formula and equation of a line to ask questions in the board exam, right? So I'll be dealing with the equation of the line in my next videos, right? Now I have chosen a question which purely belongs to section and midpoint formula. So if the line joining a 4 comma minus 5 and b 4 comma 5 is divided by the point such that AP is to AB equal to 2 by 5. Find the coordinates of the point P. See, you need to understand, analyze the question correctly. Here I am giving you the coordinate of the end point of a line segment. See, I am just taking a line segment over here, children. I am calling this point as A and this end point as B. The coordinate of A are 4 comma minus 5 and coordinate of B are 4 comma 5, right? which is divided by a point such that P is somewhere over here, children. Keep in mind, P is somewhere over here, which is divided by the point such that AP is to AB. Here is a trick, children. AP is to AB. They have given you. AB is this to this, right? So AP is 2, AB is 5. So can I say PB is nothing but 3? Very important, children. Don't directly take M1, M2 as 2 and 5. Need to understand and analyze the question correctly. So here AP is to PB will become 2 is to 3. I can assume that this is my x1, y1, this is my x2, y2, and I'm supposed to find out the coordinates of P, that is x comma y. So which formula should I use over here? Is it midpoint formula or section formula? Of course it is section formula, because P is not midpoint of AB, right? So first of all you should write by section formula. By section formula you need to write the formula, children, right? So P x comma y is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, then m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So you need to make sure that, children, in the x coordinate, as I told you, in the ordered pair, x coordinate is first, y coordinate is second. So if you observe carefully, in this expression there is no y at all. Why there is no y? Because it is x coordinate. In this expression there is no x at all. Why it is not there? Because it is y coordinate. Now I'll take x1 y1 as 4 comma minus 5, x2 y2 as 4 comma 5, and this becomes my m1 and this is my m2. My job is to substitute the values of m1, m2, x1, x2, y1, y2 to find out the coordinates of the point P. So let's start doing that one now, children. So m1 into x2. So in the sense 2 into 4, 2 into 4 plus of m2 into x1, that is 3 into 4. Okay, so both of them are 4 by m1 plus m2, 2 plus 3. This is my x coordinate. Later it is going to be m1 y2, 2 into 5 plus of m2 y1, in the sense 3 into minus 5 divided by 2 plus 3, divided by 2 plus 3. So now I'll get this one as 2 into 4 is 8, 3 into 4 is 12, divided by 5, then 2 into 5 is 10, 3 into minus 5 is minus 15 divided by 5. So it is going to be 20 divided by 5 is 4, then 10 minus 15 is minus 5 divided by 5 is minus 1. So this is the coordinate of P, which is dividing the line segment joining A and B in a particular ratio. Is that clear, children? How the marks are allotted here? This question was asked for 3 marks. How the marks are allotted over here for your kind information? First of all, identifying m1 and m2 ratio as 2 is to 3, that itself give you 1 mark. Later, writing the formula, that is section formula, and correct substitution, that will give you 1 mark, and the final answer will give you 1 mark. Clear, children? This is how marks are distributed. Now let us see one more question on the same concept. Very important type of questions. I'm telling you, I have chosen some type of questions which can be asked on this concept. Now let us see the second question. What are the chances of what kind of questions I can expect from here? Okay, see, the question is calculate the ratio in which the line joining A 6, 5 and 4 comma minus 3 is divided by the line y is equal to 2. It was asked in 2000, very long back, children. Even I was in 10th standard, in fact. Let me take the line over here. The A is 6 comma 5 and B is the coordinates of B is 4 comma minus 3. It is 4 comma minus 3. See children, practically you need to understand over here. The line y is equal to 2 is dividing the line joining these 2 points. When I draw the x-axis and y-axis, literally, roughly I will do it. Somewhere where actually A comes, somewhere it comes over here. Alright, this is A. Right, where B comes 4 comma minus 3, somewhere here it comes, somewhere here it comes. Right, so I am joining these points and y is equal to 2 is the line which is passing through y equal to 2 and parallel to x-axis. It is somewhere it is going like this. Right, so this is the point of intersection. Clear? Right, so I can take this point of intersection as P. Now what you can observe, see this line is meeting the y-axis at 2. So I can say the coordinates of P, that is sure that the ordinate is 2, x coordinate is somewhere over here. We don't know what is x coordinate, so I just keep this one as x itself. I just keep this one as x itself. Now your task is to find out what you're asked to find out. You have to find out the ratio. You have to find out the ratio. Clear children? So the point P is somewhere over here whose coordinates are x comma 2. Whose coordinates are x comma 2. So since I'm supposed to find out the ratio here, let the required ratio, okay, be m1 is to m2. You can also take it as k is to 1 also children. Okay, so here for comfortable I am just taking it as m1 is to m2. Now this is m1, this is m2. So now by section formula, make sure that you're writing every time the section formula and you're doing the correct substitution. That itself give you 1 mark. By section formula, pay attention children, by section formula, the coordinates of the point P is given by x comma 2 is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, then m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. Correct children? Now my job is to do the correct substitution. Here if I equate x coordinates and x coordinates, m1 will be unknown to me, m2 will be unknown to me, and even this x will be unknown to me. Clear? So what I do, since I'm supposed to find out the ratio, so directly I will equate the y coordinates. Directly I will equate the y coordinates. So here 2 is equal to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. So now directly I do the substitution. 2 is equal to m1. We don't know that. We are supposed to find out that. y2. See here, this is my x1. This is x2 and y2. This is x1 and y1. So m1 y2. y2 is what children? Minus 3. m1 y2 plus of m2 y1. m2 is also not known to you. y1 is 5. y1 is 5 divided by m1 plus m2. m1 plus m2 which are to be found out. I just keep them as it is. Here not necessary to write the bracket because I'm not writing the x coordinate and y coordinate together. Right. So now directly I can write this one as 2 is equal to minus 3m1 plus of 5m2 divided by m1 plus m2. So when I take this m1 plus m2 the left hand side, it becomes 2m1 plus 2m2 is equal to minus 3m1 plus m2. Now I'll bring all the m1s on one side and m2s on one side. So 2m1 plus 3m1, because this minus 3m1 taken to the other side becomes plus 3m1. 2m1 plus 3m1 is equal to m2. Okay, here we have m2, that is 5m2 we have. Okay, 5m2 minus of 2m2, minus of 2m2. Here it's supposed to be 5m2. Clear? So what I get over here, children? 5m1 is equal to 5 minus 2, 3m2. So I'm supposed to find out the ratio. Ratio in the sense what? m1 is to m2 is how much? So I can write this one as m1 by m2 is equal to 3 by 5. So if you keep the answer in the fraction form, you don't get marks, children. So always it should be in the ratio form. So what I write my conclusion? Required ratio is equal to 3 is to 5. Right? This is very, very important, children. Final answer should not be written in the fractional form, especially when you are finding out the ratios. You are not supposed to keep them in the fractional form. You are supposed to keep them in the ratio form. So this question will be definitely a very important type of question. How the marks are distributed over here, need to understand, children, need to understand the distribution of the marks over here. As I told you, identifying the coordinates of P as x comma 2 will give you 1 mark. Correct formula and correct substitution taking y coordinates equal to each other will give you 1 mark, and this step will give you 1 mark, and finding the ratio, that will give you 1 mark. As I told you, if the ratio is not expressed in the ratio form, suppose if you keep the final answer in the fractional form, you don't get the answer mark. You don't get the answer mark. Need to be very, very careful about that one, children. Final answer ratio should be in the ratio form itself. Don't keep them in the fractional form. Now let me take one more question, children. One more very important type of question, that is based upon a centroid of a triangle. See what is given over here. ABC is a triangle and G 4, 3. G means what I told you? Centroid. Coordinates of the centroid is known to you here. They have given you the coordinates of centroid. Is the centroid of a triangle. A is 1, 3, B is 4, B, and C is A, 1. Right. You need to find out the value of A and B. It was asked in 2011. Even it is also long back. So now I'll consider a triangle ABC. Listen to me very carefully. This I will take it as A. The coordinates of this point is A, 3, and the vertex B is over here. It is given to you as 4, B, and C is over here. Coordinates of this is A, 1, and the centroid will be somewhere over here. So coordinates of the centroid is given to you as 4, 3. So what is your task here? You are supposed to find out the value of A and B. So now by centroid formula, okay, by centroid of a triangle formula, you know that G x comma y is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3, then y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. Very important and very, very simple formula, children. So here this is known to me, so I can write over here 4, 3 is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. I can take any of them as x1 y1, x2 y2, and x3 as 3, any vertex. Here I'll just take this one as x1 y1, and this as x2 y2, and this as x3 y3. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. So I can write this one as 1 plus 4 plus a divided by 3. 1 plus 4 plus a divided by 3, and y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3, that is 3 plus b plus 1 divided by 3. I've just substituted, children. X1 is 1, x2 is b, okay, x1 plus x2, x1 plus x2 is 4 over here, and x3 is a. Then y1 plus y2 plus y3, that is nothing but 3 plus b plus 1 by 3. Okay, so now I need to equate x coordinate to each other. Okay, so I will write 4 is equal to 5 plus a by 3. Why 5? This 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus a by 3. So I can write this one as 7, multiply, when you multiply them, 12 minus 5 is equal to a, so that implies a is equal to 7. Okay, that implies a is equal to 7. I need to take this 3 over here. 3 into 4 is 12 and this 5 is taken to the other side. 12 minus 5 is 7, a equal to 7. So later again equate the y coordinates. Equate the y coordinates, that is 3 is equal to 3 plus b plus 1 by 3. So here 3 is equal to 4 plus b by 3. When I take this 3 other side, it becomes 9. 9 is equal to 4 plus b, implies b is equal to 5. So I have found out the value of a as well as b. So the coordinates of b are nothing but 4 comma b, in the sense 4 comma 5, and c is a comma 1, that is nothing but 7 comma 1. These are the coordinates. Clear, children? This is your final answer. How actually the marks are distributed over here. Need to understand, children, distribution of the marks. You should be smart enough to understand the steps which carry the marks. Clear? So again, writing the centroid formula and correct substitution will give you 1 mark, and finding the value of a will give you 1 mark, finding the value of b will give you 1 mark. Suppose in the question you are asked to find out, the coordinates of b and c, then this should be your final answer. Clear, children? See, then you are asked to find out the length of BC. BC in the sense what? You are asked to find out the length of this side. So how do you find out the length of any side or any line segment? Now distance formula comes into action. Right, distance formula comes into action. Right, so now I use the distance formula. You must understand what is distance formula as discussed earlier, as it is already shown what is distance formula, and you have already learnt in the 9th standard. Now I'll show you, I'll write distance formula once again. By distance formula, pay attention, children, by distance formula. So by distance formula, the length of BC is given by, here it is x3 minus x2 the whole square plus of y3 minus y2 the whole square. Just substitute. Alright, so what is x3 over here? That is a in the sense we have found out a as 7. Right, so 7 minus of x2, that is 4 the whole square, plus of y3, that is nothing but 1 minus of b is what? 5 the whole square. So that will give you, be very careful, children, 7 minus 4 is 3 square is 9, plus of 1 minus 5 is minus 4 the whole square is plus 16. So I get this one as square root of 25. Then I can write what is length of BC, children. BC is equal to square root of 25 is 5 units. Okay, so now you need to understand 3 marks plus of 1 mark, that is nothing but finding the distance of BC will give you 1 mark. That is how 4 marks are distributed. Clear, children? Yes, I think so. The today's video is very useful to you. Please let me know what topic to be taken up for the next videos. Till then, keep watching, like my videos, subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.